Hi guys, today we're giving you a short update out of the greenhouse here. It's very nice and warm and moist in here. We're gonna show you some of the plants that were growing already, and we'll also tell you a little bit about what's going on right now and how we're progressing in here. So last time we showed you some trays when we seeded and just how we set up this greenhouse. Today we're gonna show you how things are growing and how things are going in here. With the winter being pretty cold up here and fairly long, we have to kind of start the season inside early and get some heat in here and get the plants growing so that when it's warm outside, they're ready to grow and bring fruit out there. As you might remember from our last video, we have a big greenhouse structure which we were not able to complete before the winter. And since it's so big, it might also be a bit hard to heat it when it's still really cold. So we set this little greenhouse up to get going, heat it nice, and then as soon as the spring is really here, we will be planting the plants in that big greenhouse, and then they will grow there for the rest of the season. So today we'll show you some plants that we have growing already. We have lots of tomatoes, peppers, eggplant. Just combined in these three, there's about 3,000 and some plants that are growing right now. We have lettuce coming, we have onions, we have leeks, we have beets, we have some celery, celeriac. We also got some hot peppers for those that like it really spicy. We do have some flowers growing, just a little bit. We have cabbage, kale, some other brassicas growing as well. We planted basil, some dill, some parsley, which is very nicely coming up. And something that looks really awesome this year that I'm very excited about is the chamomile. You'll see a shot of that. That's beautiful. So in order to grow plants in this cold climate, especially in the spring when we still get hard night frosts, we have to heat the wood stove pretty much through the night. We do have some electric heat to help balance the needs of the greenhouse here, but the electric heat alone just won't do it when it's really cold in the night. So you have to heat it, bring it to the right temperature. We're trying to keep it somewhere around 24 degrees during the day, and in the night we try to stay above 8-9 degrees at least, so everything keeps growing nicely. We also have to water plants pretty much daily with the weather. We have lots of sun now, so during the day it's nice and hot. So we have to water at least once a day, keep things moist. That really helps the seeds to germinate and grow fast. Another thing that we try to do is we try to start the seeds in a warmer environment, and then once they germinate, we put them out on the floor where it's cooler so that they don't shoot too fast, because if they have lots of heat but not enough light, they'll just grow really fast high up trying to look for the light. So we're trying to create perfect conditions for germination, and then we move them into cooler climate where they have lots of light but a bit cooler, and that helps them to get nice, strong, dark green and stocky. One thing that I've found was really helpful in this process, because it's so cold, you never know what happens in the night, and I like to sleep in the night. So we set up a little temp stick, it's called, a little sensor that sends us temperature and moisture every 15 minutes to an app on the phone. We had to install Wi-Fi in here for that, so it sends a signal, and it's really helpful to track the temperature, because one thing that plants don't like is if they get a really cold shock. If like tomatoes or peppers get one decent frost overnight, it can be hot all day long, they're dead. So in order to keep these heat-loving plants going, we have to make sure it never gets too cold in here. And then during the day, it also can send me notifications if it gets too hot. Then I know, oh, I gotta go open the doors, or we gotta open some more things, turn some heaters off, whatever we can. And so it's really crucial to keep the climate just right for those plants, and then they're really happy, then they grow really good. So if you're growing your own plants, it might be a nice thing to have, just something that will help you see what the coldest is in the night, what the hottest is during the day, and that'll help you to know what you can do to adjust the climate so your plants will turn out just awesome. One other thing that I found really helpful in here is we have a couple fans going. They blow the air through the greenhouse and help the circulation to keep going, and that helps the plants to stay healthy so they're not wet. They always dry off nicely, and it keeps the air flowing so that, especially in the night when it gets cold, the temperature is just about the same all around the greenhouse. There's no cold corners or the heat is on the top. It just keeps flowing, and it keeps everything equally warm in here. So that really helps too, to have some fans going. So I mentioned a couple crops already that we have growing in here that we started early. There will be some more crops that have to wait just a little longer. We'll grow some more things in here, just start them in here, and then they go out on the field pretty quick. We'll grow more things like squash, cucumbers. We'll have some more different herbs and lettuces, and then the spinach and kale, things that will go outside pretty quick. We start them later because if we started them right now, they'll be suffering and waiting in here because it's still too cold outside for them to grow. Now, a third part of the seed starting happens directly on the field. There's many crops that just like it to be directly seeded into the soil. They'll grow the best that way. They don't want any heat before they need it, and you seed them in the field and they will grow from there on. So there'll be things like corn, like beans, like spinach, and many others like carrots, a lot of other root crops, even potatoes. You just plant them right into the field and they'll do way better than if you tried to start them in here early. So we're planning to do a more detailed video about seed starting and transplanting and getting things going. There's some how-to-country videos out there already that show you how to choose seed and do some of those things to get started with the season. We're also gonna do some more details on how to transplant things and what to grow, what times, and kind of what goes in the field, what has to start in here, and how you plant things. I hope you enjoyed this. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.